Kadosh Boker Tov Masechet Ketubot Daf Bet Amud Aleph. There's a beautiful Masechet Shas Katan Mini Shas. Let's see what it says. Betula Niset Liyom Revi'i. A woman that she's a betula, she gets married on Wednesdays. That was Takanat Chachamim. They always used to get married on Wednesdays. We'll see why in the Gemara. Ve'almana Yom HaChamishi. Almana was always on Thursdays. Okay? Fine. Shepa'amayim b'Shabbat. Yeah, because twice, right, on the weekday, the bedtines would sit in the states. Bayom HaSheni, Yom HaChamishi, on Mondays and on Thursdays. So therefore, Shimayala Tanat Betulin, if all of a sudden the Chatan comes and he says, what? She wasn't a Betula. So therefore, meaning, why is it that they were getting married on Wednesday nights, right? We're going to speak about why not Sunday, because right? But basically, on Wednesday night, he used to get married. If the Wednesday night after the wedding, he would come home and she wasn't a Betula, on Thursday morning, he was the first one there in the wedding. He was saying, what is this? Right? She was supposed to be a Betula, and she's not a Betula. So therefore, that's why they used to get married on Wednesday nights. Obviously, as I said, we'll be asked on Sunday nights, and we'll continue from there. Says the Gemara. Says the Amar Rav Yosef, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shemuel. Says Rav Yosef in the name of Rav Yehuda, in the name of Shemuel. Mipene ma amru betula niset liyom harrevi'i. Why is it that they said that a betula gets married on Dafka on Wednesday, not on Sunday? Right? Because we already said that also on Monday there's bedin. So it said because we learned later on to do with a person that comes and he tells his bride to get married. Right? What happens if the time came and they didn't get married? Remember that in the olden days, it's not like nowadays. Nowadays, you do chuppah and kiddushin in the same time. Meaning kiddushin is erusin, the engagement, but it's real engagement, right? It's kiddushin, right? Which means that, she lives with somebody else, they both get killed, right? It's very strict. It's not just an engagement that you could break it off the Gemara. No. It's mamash. Nowadays, we do it together. The bring is kiddushin, is erusin. The chuppah is an nisuin, it's a marriage. So therefore, the question is, right? In the olden days, they used to separate it. They used to get the first part, which was the engagement or the kiddushin, and then they used to do the nisuin a year later. So they used to give the betula. They used to give her a full year to get prepared for her wedding. A full year to get prepared for her wedding. If it was an almanah, they would give her less to prepare for a wedding. So therefore, the Gemara says over there, what happens right now? Right? The almanah, they would give her 30 days. What happens right now if it already arrived the 12 months and he still didn't get married to her? Right? That means he comes and let's say they get engaged today. Today is Chet, right? Chet of Tammuz. Yeah? Comes next year, Chet of Tammuz. They still didn't get married. So what happens? From that day onwards, he's obligated to give her mizonot. Meaning until now, where's she living? In the father's house. Right? Where's she eating? In the father's house. Right? If she got married to a Kohen, can she eat truma? No. Everything is still in the father's house. Yeah? So what? Once now it passed the year, she's allowed to eat truma. Right? Why? Because now it's the husband's responsibility. So So I would have thought that 1 second. What happens if the 12 months finish on Sunday? So I would have thought, right, that really he should start getting your parnasa from Sunday. So from Sunday until the Wednesday, she could have parnasa. That's what we learned, which means that since it's a takanat chachamim, that she only gets married on Yom Revi'i, the yikuv of the nisuim from Yom Rishon until Yom Revi'i was not because of the man. It wasn't that he just stopped and said, you know what, he got cold feet and he's waiting a little bit longer. It's because of the rabbis. So because it's the rabbi, he's not obligated to give them parnasah from Sunday until the Wednesday. Meaning it's not considered that he's late until that Wednesday. Okay? Makes sense. Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef now is going to come and ask, right? And he says like this, Mareh de Abraham. What is Mareh? The master. Master of Abraham. Ribono shel Abraham. Tale Tanya b'delo Tanya. How does Shemuel say that the reasoning of our Mishnah is dependent upon a Mishnah which is not even taught. How does that make sense? One more time. Our Mishnah says, when do you get married? On Wednesday. Now, why? Because if it does happen that's what he's explaining. But if it does happen that the time comes after a year and it comes on Sunday, you don't have to pay until Wednesday. Well, I don't know what's going on. So the Gemara says, 1 second. Hi Tanya, Tanya. Which Mishnah was taught? Which Mishnah was not taught? They were both taught. Ha Tanya, Tanya, they were both taught. At the end of the day, both of them was taught. First of all, it's written in the Mishnah, the Tulad Yisel Yom Revi, that's our Mishnah. And it's written in the Mishnah later on, Higiyaz Mamelon Isu, that also that you have to start giving parnasa. So both of them are Mishnayot, which are being taught. Ella, but rather, Tali Tanya de Mefaresh Ta'ama, Bede Tanya de Lo Mefaresh Ta'ama. No, both of them were Mishnayot, not 100%. They were both Mishnayot. But you're depending on Mishnah that's written the reason with a Mishnah that's not written the reason. Which means, how could Shemuel come and be Tolea Mishnah? That the reason is written in the Mishnah, meaning you know the reason. For a Mishnah that's not written the reason. There, it was written the reason. That if it already came the time it was Sunday, you don't have to pay up the parnasa. Why? Because the rabbi said it's on Wednesday. But for us, it's not written the reason why a woman has to get married on Wednesday. But this is what it means to say. Why do we say that what the Betula gets married on Yom Revi'i? If he has Tana Betulim, he comes to Betin. So after the first night, he comes to Betin and says, listen, she's not a Betula. Yeah? He said, well, they get married on Sunday. Right? One more time. What does the Mishnah say? The Mishnah says that Betula has to get married when? On Wednesday. So he says, get married on Sunday. Why? Because that means on Monday, you will also come to Bedin. Right? So answers the Gemara. Shakdu chachamim atakana benot Israel. Shakdu. Shakdu is, listen to this. Shakdu chachamim atakana benot Israel. Right? Sheyeh toreach beseuda shlosha yamim. Echad b'Shabbat, sheni b'Shabbat, sheni b'Shabbat, u'revi konsa. Which means like this. By the way, even caterers today do this. You think that the caterer prepares the food on the same day of the wedding? It's 3 days before. So even more, right? So what happens? Shadu chachamim, the chachamim, right? They come and they were shadu, they went and they were tarfu, because they said no, they made a special takana that they wanted that for the Benot Israel, they would prepare for the wedding. If you're going to have a wedding on Sunday, when did they prepare? On Shabbat, you can't prepare. On what? You're going to do it already Wednesday before. So therefore, they prepared Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 3 days. Echad b'Shabbat, sheni b'Shabbat, shlishi b'Shabbat, and then on Wednesday, they used to get married to the chuppah. Now that we learned the concept of shaktu, which is basically that we want the people to prepare for the weddings, now we understand it. Now we understand why that he's going to be obligated, right, to pay if it's on the proper time. What does that mean? Because if it comes now on Sunday, he can't get married. Why? Again, it's takanat chachamim. It's not takanat chachamim because now she has to go. He would go to the bedin because he could go to the bedin on Monday morning. So get married on Sunday. No, because since the rabbis made a special takana for the girl, that she'll have a nice wedding, and therefore the caterers and everything they're starting to prepare 3 days in advance. So therefore, they wouldn't get married on Sunday. So if they get married on Sunday, they only have the same day to prepare. Right? It's not like nowadays you have fridge, freezers, and then you're right. Nowadays they prepare even a month before and they put it in the freezer. So then they take it out. Right? We're talking about Amash, you understand the entire concept. Yeah? Very. Says the Gemara, and therefore, Chala hu o shechalta hi o shepirsa nida eno ma'aleh mezonot. According to what we just learned, what happens if he became sick? Or she became sick? Or she became a nida? He doesn't have to give him his mezonot. Because he's here. He wants to get married. But he can't because of an honest, his force majeure. So the fact that there's a force majeure, whether it's because he's sick, whether it's because she's sick, or because she's a nida, and they wouldn't do the chupat nida, right? They wouldn't get married if she was a nida, right? Nowadays, it's much different because nowadays, it's very difficult to start changing halls, bands, orchestra, all these things. But technically, you're a caterer, all these things. But once upon a time, if she was a nida, they wouldn't get married. They would wait until she became clean, and then she would get married. They wouldn't get married when she's a nidah. Because according to a lot of shittot, it's actually Nachloket Rosh Rambam, right? It comes out whether bichal it's considered a marriage, because at the end of the day, if there's no marital relation, maybe there's no marriage yet. So they would wait until she's 100% clean. So therefore, the same thing. Now, if there's a force majeure, he doesn't have to give a parnasah. Why? He's here, he's ready. But she's sick, or even if he's sick, or if she became a nidah, Elmaleh mizono. So says the Gemara, but people still have the doubt. Okay, fine. But what about if he's sick? I understand she's sick because he's ready. He's here. He says, listen, I want to do it right now. She's sick. What do you want? She's not going to have a wedding when she's sick. Fine. He doesn't have to give her parnasah. She became a nidah. It's a problem in her. What about him? What about if he's sick? There, the reasoning was why? Because mishum danis, because of honest. So to hear, it's also honest. It's force majeure. He can do it. Or maybe there he's an honest because of the rabbi's takana. Meaning the rabbis made a takana. Don't get married on Sunday. You have to get married on Wednesday. Prepare the wedding Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So it's the rabbis that stopped him. But here it's an honest because of himself, not because of the rabbis. Even if you're going to tell me chalahu malil mazonot, even if you're going to tell me now that bemet, if he's sick, you do give. He should give her parnasah. He should give her mizonot. Chaltahima. What about if she becomes sick? Matzi amala. He could say, "Ana hakayim." I'm here. I'm standing here. I'm waiting to marry. I'm ready. Right? Ready or not? Here I come. No, but if you're not ready. That's your problem. Not mine. Why am I doing this? Start giving you parnasah. Or Dilmar maybe. Matzia amrale. We could tell him. Nistap chasader. Nistap chasader was a very famous line, which sometimes we use, which is basically that your sadeh became flooded over. Your field became flooded over. What does that mean? It's your mazal. At the end of the day, you already got married to her, and now you're waiting for the wedding. If she becomes sick right before the wedding, that's your mazal. You can't start blaming that on her, right? That's your mazal. Nistap chasader. Or do we say no? That he could say, listen, I'm here, I'm waiting. It's your problem, not my problem. Right? That's the question. The team, so even if you're going to tell me Amrale, she could tell him Nistap Chasadeu, that it's your field, right, that became ruined, and it's your mazal. Because what happened that Bidyuk, that field got ruined, right? Or Bidyuk, she became sick. Pirsanidama. What about Pirsanida? Is he also obligated or not? So says the Gemara, Bishat Pesta, lo tibai lecha. If it's the time when it's kabua that she's supposed to see her period, then obviously there's not going to be a doubt. Betamubet. She can't say then. She can't say that it's your field that got ruined. This is her period. This is the normal time when she's supposed to see. When is the question? What happens if she didn't see a normal period? Right? Like what Mordechai said before, she also got very nervous. She got this, she got that. And all of a sudden, she gets an extra period now. So now here's the question. What's Allah? Given the law, since it's not b'shat v'sta, right? So she could tell him, "Stop chasadeu," that it's your mazdal, and therefore you have to still give me parnasah. Or Dilma, maybe given the ikanasha, the kabishat v'sta, since there are women that once in a while they do change their vessel, they change their period. Keshav v'sta dami, it's considered shad v'sta. So one more time. So then, what are we trying to say? We're going to do a very quick chazarah, right? Very quick. One more time. We're trying to understand. Is he obligated to pay parnasah or not? Now, you guys are thinking, what's a big deal? He's going to give her food. He'll order Uber Eats from Sunday to Wednesday. What's the big deal? No. It was a lot of money, right? And people would argue on the 5 things. You understand? The mamash every single day, right? It's like right now I'm going to charge you in an Airbnb. I'm going to charge you an extra 5 days. You start fighting. No, but that day I wasn't here. I was here. You shouldn't charge me this day. This day was only half a day. And people argue. It's only no, because that's how you become smart. I heard from Baba Haki, a wise businessman. People were fighting for $25, and they're swearing on the phone. They're doing crazy things. Why? Because that's how they become right. Just be very, very even on the pennies. To be smart. So to hear the Alachado is coming and saying, are you obligated or not obligated to pay once it finished the year and it came out on a Sunday? So he's trying to understand. Yes, no, back, forth. Okay. What happens when he's sick? She's sick. Nida. If it is a regular period, not regular period, we're trying to understand. So that's what we're here for. So Pashit Ravachai. Ravachai comes, says the Gemara, and he's going to say that it's very simple. The Mishnah already said it came the time to get married, right? And they didn't get married. Says in the Mishnah, if right now it's the time, so she's allowed to eat from him, and she can even eat truma. Let's say she's married to a kohen, but he didn't actually do the marriage yet. He only did kiddushin. Once it comes a day, she's allowed to eat truma. So it says lo nasu, lo katani, but we didn't say lo nasu, ela lo nisu. What does it mean lo nisu? What does it mean lo nisu? Why did it say lo nasu? They didn't get married together. Lo nisu, what's the difference? He comes and he says, so then it's even if the yikul was from the women, not only from the men, even if it's from the women, either kamatvan inhu inhi, if it's going to be that she's the one that's stopping it, so why? If she's stopping the wedding, why in the world does he have to pay for it? Right? You're going to say, I'm here, I want to do it. You're the one that's stopping it, not me. Right? I want to get married. You're going to start charging me and I don't get married. So he says, the eatsnis, but there's an honest. Just like this. We still learn. So means there's an honest, and still, even though there's an honest, he's obligated to give her to eat. And that's why she's allowed to eat truma as well. Okay, that is the Rabbi that Rabbi Chai learned. Amar Ravashi says, no! Leolam really bemet. Anytime there's honest, she does not eat. She does not eat from him or eat truma. It's only when he's married, when he's stopping the marriage. That's why he says lo nasu. Really, in the Mishnah, it should have said lo nasu, which means he didn't get married to her. But since the Reisha was someone in her, right? So too, also it says lo nisu on her, even though really be'emet, no. It comes out of machloket between Rabbi Ravashi. According to Ravashi, any type of an honest, right? He does not have to pay for the food. He doesn't have to pay. It's only if he's stopping the wedding, he has to pay. According to Rabbi, he always has to pay, even if there's an honest. So Amar Rabba says, Ulinyan gitin and okay. But to do with get, it doesn't help. What does that mean? I remember, Ketubot is called many shots. So you're going to find all parts of shots in Ketubot, right? Many shots. It's all shots is inside, right? Is inside Ketubot. So it says to be like this. If a person gives a get to his wife, and he makes a condition that it's going to be a get if he's not going to come until 30 days, right? And then what happens? There's an honest if he doesn't come. Yeah, makes sense. One more time. A person comes and he tells his wife, here's a get, right? If I'm not going to use my phone for 30 days. Yeah, and all of a sudden, right? There was an honest. He had to use it. He had to call 911, whatever the case was. So now it's honest. So he says it doesn't help. What does that mean? It doesn't help? That once he did not come, right? He cannot come and say it was honest, and therefore it's a good get. It's a get, meaning this ta'ana of honest, a force majeure does not work by a get. A person comes and he tells his wife, this is a get. If I don't come within 30 days, the 30th day, they canceled every single flight in the world. Right? There was a COVID, I don't know what happened. That doesn't matter. Sorry. He wants to come. Yeah, he's screaming, I'm coming. He didn't come, it's a good get. Why? We don't accept force majeure right, by get. Alma, so you see from here. So Rabbi holds, there's no such thing as an honest by get. How do we know this? If you're going to tell me it's a Mishnah Gitin, the Mishnah Gitin says, imagine a person comes and he says, this is the get if I don't come within 12 months. Many times, by the way, they would do these things just in case they would become, they would go to Miami, they would do MIA, right? They would go to MIA. What is MIA? Missing in action. There's a lot of people that are missing in action, right? All of a sudden they just disappear, right? They were all the time there and all of a sudden missing in action, right? So what happens? So he says, right, that a person has to be careful. So now what happens? They would give a get just in case they don't come back. So now a guy comes, he gives a get, 12 months. If he doesn't come until now in 12 months, it's a good get. And all of a sudden, once he dies within the 12 months, and no get, it's not going to be a get. So why? It's only because he died that it's not going to be a good get. But if he's got sick, it is a get, right? So maybe from there we could learn. And honest with gitin, there's no honest in gitin. So says the Gemara, no. The maybe I'm going to tell you that really if he got sick, it's also not a get. And that's the chidush of the Mishnah is then get la'achar mitah. There's no such thing as a get after that. Because basically what happened? He gave a get to his wife, and he says if he doesn't come back within 12 months, this is his get. He dropped dead after 6 months. There's no get after death. So therefore, the fact that he died right now, Kaddish, come on. There's nothing else that happens. It doesn't help to wait until the 12 months and say, retroactive. No, that's it. There's no get lachar mita. And that's what the Gemara is saying. So it says the Gemara, ain't get lachar mita, what? There's no get after death. Hatana Reisha, we already saw that at the beginning. The beginning of the team there, in Ayin Bet Amud, the beginning of that Mishnah, it said, whenever the person gives a get to his wife, he's going to die. Which means that if he dies, it's going to be a get. Or he's going to give her a get if after he becomes cured from this holy, right? So then he says, and he died from that holy, right? Or he says, this is your get after death. So you see in this case that there's no such thing as get after death. We already learned this from a Mishnah. You don't need then for us to learn this from a Mishnah and Baba Mubet. Meaning, if you already learned it from one Mishnah, I don't need another Mishnah to teach you that there's no get after death. After death, Kaddish. What do you mean there's no get after death? So says the Gemara, no. He says, maybe the Mishnah is coming to argue on that which the Rabbi said. The Tanya, was we said, learned in a Braita, the Rabbi said that if a woman accepted a get on condition that he doesn't come until 12 months, and he died within the 12 months, right? She's permitted to get married to somebody else. Why? Because the get is chal, and therefore she's considered a grusha, not an almana, and therefore she doesn't need yibum chalitza. Remember, it was very, very awkward for a woman to do yibum and chalitza, right? Very awkward. You know what it is? The brother-in-law comes and he starts, living with the sister-in-law, or the brother-in-law comes and he takes off the shoe. It's very, very lo naim. It's not pleasant. So sometimes you would have a husband that he says, why in the world is he going to have to make his wife go through yibum or chalitza? He gives her a get, and he says, if I don't come back within 12 months, here's a get. All of a sudden, he drops dead. Now, you know that he didn't want her to do yibum chalitza. Why? Because he gave her the get on purpose because of that. And now he dropped dead. So what happened? Says the Rabbi, the fact that that happened, right, it is a good get. And therefore, she's considered divorced. She's not considered an almana, a widow. She's considered divorced. She can get married to whoever she wants. She doesn't need to do yibum or chalitza. So therefore, maybe it's going to exclude the shita of the rabbis that they hold that it is a good get. So we say, who is these rabbis? Man Raboten, who are these rabbis that say that? The bedin that they permitted oil of goyim. Do you know? Are you allowed to have wine of goyim? Yeah, we were just actually at a wedding, right, recently, and it was so dangerous. I remember the Rabbanim were at the table and they were looking. The wine was not mushal. So they started saying, hey, what's going on, this and that. Finally, they had to come. They had to give the father of the, or the grandfather of the chatan to start serving the wine. This one, the wine. It becomes a balagan. You know what it is? All you need is one boy to pick it up. And we're almost. Who is it? It's the bedin that they permitted oil. Why did I bring down the wine? Because nowadays, the wine is prohibited. Oil is permitted. But do you know that once upon a time, even oil was prohibited? Oil of goyim. Meaning just like now you need the kosher wine, you will need the kosher oil. Has nothing to do with the goyim. So he says, they hold like Rabbi Yosef, he says, which means the time which is on the document, that is going to be mochiach about the document, which means that the fact that he came and he put that it's going to be in 12 months, he wanted it to be retroactively or not. So therefore the rabbis came and they said that to do with this, if he made the condition, if I didn't come, he wanted it already from the beginning, right? So therefore, it's going to be, the get is going to be chal, retroactive. When did he give the get? Today. So even though he didn't come within the year, it's chal today, the get. You understand? Because he put the date today. So says the Gemara, and we say, what about the seifa? Whatever the person said, he says, this is your get from now, if I don't come from now within until 12 months. Meaning he added the word from now. He didn't say, this is your get if I don't come within 12 months. Because then maybe it's only later on. Here he says, this is your get from now. If I don't come from now until 12 months. See? So one more time. So a person came and he said, that this is your get from now if I don't come from now until 12 months. And then he died within 12 months. So it's a get. It is a get. So says Gemara, met the same halacha would apply if he got sick, not only if he died. If he got sick and he didn't show up, it would be the same halacha, right? So says the Gemara, no, only if he died. if he died, he doesn't want her to fall in front of the Avan. We just finished Yevamot. Remember that. He doesn't want her to fall in front of the Avan. So because of that, it's good for him. He wants it. But if he got sick, maybe Bemet still wants to stay married to her. And the fact that he didn't come was because he's sick, not because he dropped that. He didn't drop that. He's still alive. Baruch Hashem. Yeah, well, he was going to show up on the last few days, and then there was the force majeure. So, imagine a person comes and he says, I'm not going to come from now until 30 days. It's going to be a get. He came after 30 days, and he's on the other side of the river. So he says, look, I'm here. Look. Chazu is the sea. Atai, I came, like Atu, right? They came. Atai, I came. It's not called that you came. Dude, it's not called that you came. Why? Because at the end of the day, you didn't come. Very nice. You're on the other side. Chazak Baruch. But you didn't come here. So says the Gemara, but maybe here this is called an onus, which is shliach. So therefore, if it's going to be a force majeure, which is common, for example, like this, it's different than other types of onus. He should have made that condition. So that he made himself lose out, which means like this. Do you know that there's something even in by the way, remember this, even in insurance claims and policies, there's something which is called act of God, and then there's something which is called force majeure, and then there's something which is called, right, that it's foreseeable or unforeseeable, right? The exact same thing is what we're trying to say here, the Torah, that there's certain things that you should have paid attention. If you already know that there's so many cancellations, right? Or if you already know that there's so many problems of security in airports, you have to have that in mind. You can't come to the airport and say, listen, there was too much security, so I lost the flight. No, you should have known that. You know that this is the date, that there's a lot of passengers, or especially today, or that there's this or that. So therefore, because of all these things, and since you know all these things, so therefore it's very, very, very important for you to understand, to have that in mind. If you don't make that condition, and then you don't make that stipulation in the document, so it's your problem. You were the one that made it. So maybe over there, the fact that he was on the other side of the river, and now they canceled the boats and the ferries, you should have had that in mind. That's something that could happen all the time. You're right. It's going to be, I don't know what, a war, almost something lasted. So then, okay, fine. That you didn't know about, you couldn't have known about. Everything was peaceful until now. That's something else. Here, you missed your flight. That could be very common. So the fact that you didn't make that stipulation, that's what you made yourself lose. And Rabbi says you're right. Rabbi comes and he says, right, that really be'emet midin Torah, there is an honest in it, which means there does exist even force majeure in a get, right? Which means if he was honest, the get is batel. But the rabbis went and they instituted that there's no honest in gitin. Why? Mishum tznuot and mishum prutzot. Because of the tzadikot and because of the prutzot. Two extremes. Why? Mishum tznuot, get. You're going to say that it's not going to be a get. Zimnin deloani. Sometimes there's not going to be a force majeure. The sabra adianis. She's going to come and think, right? That what? That maybe there was an honest. Umigana biatz, and she's going to say an abuna for the rest of life. Meaning this, at tzadeket, she's going to come, and we're giving Elmaleh if we're just finishing right now. At tzadeket is going to come and say, you know what? 1 second. He made a condition, and really there was no honest. So technically, she could get married now. It's a good get. But she's going to say, you know what, maybe he really wanted to come back, something happened. So now she stays in a guna for the rest of her life. So because we don't want that the tznuot should lose out, we purposely came and we made, there's no honest in it. Why? That's it. If he didn't come, he didn't come. Go get married. And because of yeah, she's the one that's going. Yeah, exactly. But because of her, we wanted to save her. How do we save her? And there's no honest in it. We'll continue tomorrow.